knows how long Trump has been keistering those Einstein files.
Yeah,
The dam has broken the...
They're trying to somehow tie President Trump to the scandal.
Nothing to hide. He wrote Jeffrey Epstein a whole goddamn birthday letter with a drawing.
Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein has become the political equivalent of a crime scene, where the suspect keeps returning to water the plants. Jimmy Kimmel dissects the absurdity of watching Trump squirm as Congress unanimously votes to release the Epstein files. And what emerges is a masterclass in Trump's signature move, denying the undeniable while leaving a trail of evidence so obvious it could be seen from space. The spectacle reaches its peak when Trump's own Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, spends months desperately avoiding the vote before finally surrendering to reality. This is Trump's universe colliding with accountability, and the cognitive dissonance generates enough energy to power a small nation. The files Trump spent so long keeping hidden, allegedly keistering them according to Kimmel's vivid metaphor, now face the harsh light of public scrutiny, and Trump's only defense is the one he's used his entire life, brazenly insisting that documented reality is somehow fake. The beauty of Trump's nothing-to-hide defense strategy lies in its breathtaking simplicity. When you've spent decades cultivating a public persona built on shameless self-promotion and zero introspection, the concept of shame becomes irrelevant. Trump operates in a reality where birthday letters to convicted sex traffickers containing references to wonderful secrets simply evaporate from the historical record because he says so. This is the Trump doctrine in action. Reality is whatever he declares it to be in that moment, and any evidence to the contrary is fake news manufactured by terrible reporters with bad attitudes.
President Trump has nothing to do with it. He has said himself he has nothing to hide.
Mike Johnson's desperate defense of Trump reveals the psychological contortions required to serve in Trump's orbit. Here's a man squeezing his butt cheek so tightly he could manufacture diamonds from coal, insisting with a straight face that Democrats are using the Epstein matter as a political weapon. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a bone saw. Trump has nothing to hide, Johnson proclaims, because Trump said he has nothing to hide. This circular logic represents the entire Trump defense apparatus. The emperor says he's wearing clothes, therefore questioning his nudity makes you the problem. Johnson's performance captures the essence of Trump's gravitational pull. Once you enter his orbit, basic logic becomes optional, and self-respect becomes negotiable. Johnson kept the House out of session for 2 entire months, specifically to avoid this vote, demonstrating the lengths Trump's loyalists will go to protect him. But even Johnson's desperate stalling couldn't stop the inevitable. When the dam finally broke, it broke spectacularly. 427-1 in the House, unanimous in the Senate. These aren't the numbers of a witch hunt. These are the numbers of bipartisan consensus that something deeply wrong happened, and the American people deserve to know what.
On it about their wonderful secrets. That to me sounds like something to hide.
Trump's birthday letter to Epstein with drawings about their wonderful secrets is the kind of evidence that would make a defense attorney weep into their retainer. This isn't circumstantial. This isn't hearsay. This is Trump literally creating a paper trail documenting his friendship with a convicted sex trafficker, complete with illustrations. The man who claims executive privilege over his tax returns apparently saw no problem immortalizing his bond with Epstein in writing. This captures Trump's fundamental disconnect with consequence. In Trump's mind, if he says something didn't happen, then physical evidence of it happening becomes irrelevant. Reality bends to his will, not the other way around. The birthday letter represents Trump at his most unguarded, before Epstein's crimes became public knowledge, before the need for distance and denial. It's a snapshot of Trump's actual relationship with Epstein, preserved in his own handwriting, complete with doodles. No amount of "I barely knew him" revisionism can erase what Trump himself committed to paper. This is why Trump fought so hard to keep these files buried. Not because there's nothing there, but because there's everything there.
passed by such a large margin that Trump can't put his little orange thumb on the scale and give it the old Cheeto veto. But make no mistake.
The congressional vote strategy exposes a fascinating truth about Trump. The only thing that can occasionally constrain him is making the political cost of his corruption more expensive than the corruption itself. 427 to 1. Those numbers represent what it takes to corner Trump into transparency. Overwhelming, veto-proof, undeniable consensus. But even then, as Kimmel astutely notes, the game isn't over. Trump's Department of Justice still possesses the power to redact, withhold, and protect documents under the banner of national security. This is Trump's superpower. He's built a system where accountability has infinite escape hatches, and each escape hatch leads to another escape hatch, creating a bureaucratic maze designed to exhaust anyone seeking truth.
Dog Ghislaine Maxwell gets to play with in her country club prison.
Trump's suspiciously easy capitulation raises the question that defines his entire presidency. What does Trump have planned that we can't see yet? When a man who fights traffic tickets like they're constitutional crises suddenly becomes cooperative about releasing documents that could implicate him in a sex trafficking scandal, you can bet the fix is already in. This is Trump operating at his most dangerous, appearing to lose while actually winning. The DOJ's ability to withhold information for ongoing investigations or national security provides Trump with plausible deniability while maintaining complete control. It's the political equivalent of a magician showing you the card deck before making your card disappear. The transparency is the misdirection.
Coincidentally got moved right out of regular prison and into the kind of prison Felicity Huffman was in for getting her kid into college.
Ghislaine Maxwell's mysterious transfer from actual prison to country club prison, following a meeting with Trump's Deputy Attorney General, represents Trump's loyalty program in action. This is how Trump operates. Scratch his back, and suddenly convicted sex traffickers get puppy playtime and minimum security accommodations. The Bureau of Prisons' own policy explicitly states that convicted sex offenders aren't eligible for minimum security facilities. But Trump's administration treats policies like suggestions from people who don't understand how power really works. Maxwell's cushy prison transfer is Trump's way of sending a message to anyone else who might be tempted to cooperate with investigators. Stay quiet, and Daddy will take care of you.
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter.
Trump's meltdown at reporter Mary Bruce perfectly encapsulates his relationship with accountability. He doesn't mind the questions, he minds the attitude. Translation? He minds the questions. When Bruce asks Trump about the Epstein files, Trump's response is vintage authoritarian tantrums. Attack the questioner's character, threaten their employer's broadcast license, and never, under any circumstances, answer the actual question. This is Trump's media strategy distilled to its purest form. Turn every inquiry into a loyalty test, every criticism into a personal attack, and every journalist into an enemy of the people. Notice how Trump immediately pivots from defending himself to attacking ABC's credibility. This is the Trump playbook in real time. Bruce didn't back down. She followed up the Epstein question with an equally uncomfortable query about Jamal Khashoggi's murder. And Trump's response was to call her a terrible person and a terrible reporter. Not to answer the questions, not to address the substance, just pure ad hominem attack designed to intimidate future questioners into silence. This is how Trump has operated his entire life. Make asking uncomfortable questions so unpleasant that people stop asking them.
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
The beautiful irony is that Trump calls reporters terrible while standing next to Mohammed bin Salman, a man whose regime murdered a Washington Post journalist, and treating him like his best friend from summer camp. Trump's moral compass doesn't just point in the wrong direction, it spins in circles while playing circus music. A journalist asks uncomfortable questions about sex trafficking, and she becomes a terrible person. A crown prince orders the dismemberment of a journalist, and he gets a state dinner with photo ops. This is Trump's value system laid bare. Loyalty to Trump equals virtue. Criticism of Trump equals evil, and actual crimes committed by Trump's friends simply don't compute.
Who was the best president for Saudi Arabia?
But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump blow them all away?
No, it's another league, Mr. President.
Trump's shameless self-promotion while hosting a state dinner for a murderous dictator represents the apex of Trump's moral vacuum. He literally asks Mohammed bin Salman to confirm that Trump is the best president for Saudi Arabia. And when MBS diplomatically suggests they've worked with all presidents, Trump pushes harder. Does Trump blow them all away? This is Trump's ego requiring constant external validation, even from autocrats whose hands are literally covered in journalist blood. The scene is so absurd it transcends satire. Trump demanding praise from a man who ordered a murder while dodging questions about his own connections to a sex trafficker. It's narcissism as foreign policy, ego as diplomacy, and shamelessness as statecraft. Trump has transformed the presidency into performance art, where the only audience that matters is himself. Every scandal becomes a plot twist in his personal Netflix series. Every investigation becomes fake news orchestrated by terrible reporters. And every uncomfortable truth becomes a Democrat distraction. The Epstein files represent just another episode in the Trump show, where the protagonist is simultaneously victim and villain, genius and bumbler, truth-teller and pathological liar. The show never ends because Trump never stops performing, and the performance never ends because Trump has made the American presidency into the world's most expensive mirror, reflecting only his own distorted image back at himself. We're all trapped in Trump's cinematic universe of chaos, watching a man who measures self-worth in crowd sizes and retweets navigate questions about sex trafficking with the same indignation he reserves for reporters who dare to ask about it. The tragedy is that Trump is both setup and punchline, forever trapped in a reality show where he's the only viewer who thinks he's winning. His defense against the Epstein allegations follows the same playbook he's used for decades: deny, attack, distract, and outlast. He denies any wrongdoing despite documented evidence. He attacks the investigators, the reporters, the Democrats, anyone who dares question him. He distracts with tangents about terrible reporters and fake news networks. And he hopes to outlast the scandal through sheer exhaustion, betting that the public's attention span is shorter than his list of scandals. But the Epstein files are different. This isn't about a leaked recording or a contested election or even multiple indictments. This is about systematic sex trafficking, and Trump's name keeps appearing in the documents. No amount of bluster can erase his own birthday letter. No amount of attacks on reporters can change the fact that Trump fought desperately to keep these files hidden. The dam has broken, and Trump is scrambling to control the flood. His strategy, having his DOJ withhold information under national security exemptions, might buy him time, but it won't buy him innocence. Trump turned the presidency into personal brand management, but some brands are too toxic even for him to rebrand. The Epstein Association is that brand, and Trump is learning what happens when your past becomes too documented to deny.